Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. First of all, I apologize for the brief little glimpse of that worked, or whatever I was saying earlier. I was having some problems with the microphone picking up sound, so I had to do a little bit of setup in OBS to get to that. But we've got that all sorted out, so now we're ready for this one. After our adventures last week, I don't even remember what we were playing last week because I've been so busy with my 1985 replay. Oh, we were doing Appa Hockey last week. That's right. As Conflict Board Gaming is first to join us. We're debuting a brand new game on the channel as we play Invaders from Dimension X by Tiny Battle Publishing. This game has us in charge of the 124th Galactic Marine Raider Battalion of the Unified Space Alliance Defense Force against the Chaots, which are the aliens in this game. As you can probably see here, it might be a little bit hard to see, but it's not too bad, I don't think. Actually, I'm going to bring it. Oh no, it looks like you guys can just barely see it. This is a more traditional hex encounter war game, which in my war game experience, I very much shied away from these more traditional hex encounter games, because a lot of hex encounter games in my experience, well, in my very limited experience, at least from what I'm researching, usually come with a ton of counters. But then I saw these games that Herman Luttman actually did, and these actually come with a very low counter count, so I figured I'd give these a try. When it comes to tactical games, I've made no bones about the fact that I really like my narrative games. I tend to like for example, Thomas Van Hare and Gregory Smith are two of my favorite designers in the wargame space, just because they've got a lot of that narrative aspect to them. And as I mentioned, hex and counter games are games I've very much shied away from. So we're going to give hex and counter games a try here, just to see what I think of them. As I've been looking off and on at getting a new game, probably a Gregory Smith design, if I'm being perfectly honest. But we'll see what I think of hex and counter games. Maybe I'll start expanding into those, or maybe games like Tank on Tank and this will be as far as I go with hex and counter. Or maybe I'll just junk hex and counter altogether, which is also very possible. So I am very much learning this game, because this is the very first time I've ever played this game. I have looked at the rules at least, so I have something resembling an idea, but I fully expect to be living in the rulebook tonight. We are playing the very first scenario, running the gauntlet. So I've got everything set up. I've got everything set up for that here. We've got a Chaos Overlord unit up here. It's at hex 115. And then when I did random setup, I got all other warriors out of there. I'll explain what each unit is doing when we actually get to that point. So I think we're all set for this one. I'm just going to take a quick look at my email here because I just saw something critical, but I just want to follow up on this. Or just make sure I'm up to date on this. And it's go. Okay, I had a sneaking, but that was about the new Arkham Horror LCG Investigator expansion that's supposed to be releasing this week, but my game store might not get it in until next week, because apparently there's a Star Wars Unlimited set that's dropping this week, and that causes delays. So hopefully I'll be able to get a hold of that this week, and I'll be showing that off when I show off stuff from the game store. But enough rambling here. Let's jump into this one. So for the first turn, so sequence of play starts off with the Marine action phase. Let's see. Marine units enter the game from off map and enter at 322, paying the normal road cost for that hex, which is normally 1. Let's see. If the hex is occupied by an alien unit, the units are delayed 1 turn and brought in on the closest map edge to 322 as possible. Okay, Marine Task Force enters in 4 distinctive groups, 1 on each of 4 consecutive, starting with the first. Individual units within each group may enter in any order on that turn. So that's at the... Do those come in at the start of the game? I'm a little bit confused about that. Paying the normal... Okay, so we are in the Marine action phase. So what we've got coming out first, we've got a pair of scouts coming out. And then they've got a movement of 3 by the arrow, 3 ammo, and I'm not sure what that's probably a defense of some kind. DN being what? Defense number. And then on the back, we've got when they're out of ammo. Not sure what the JP is on there, or is on here, but anyway, we've got our first scout map, our first scout unit coming in, which has got a movement point of 3. So in the Marine action phase, we can do a full move, full fire, shoot and scoot, or a special action, which is one of recon, build a stronghold, rally, resupply, or request reinforcements. We can't do a request reinforcements because we don't have an HQ unit coming out. And our goal in this scenario is actually to get all the way... Our goal for this scenario is to get both logistic units off the right edge of the map. So we want to try to get them off of this side of the map somewhere. And I didn't mean to jar the map there. We have to pay the hex cost to get it off the map, along with an HQ unit and a combat unit, immediate victory. But if we don't get an instant victory and the cats don't win based on their drawn mission goal chit, then there are other conditions for that, but we'll get more into those as we get into the game. So I think for the time being, normal cost is 1. We've got a movement point, so we've got 2 more movement points, which means we want to go... We're probably going to go 2 to 255 and 3 to 324. Then our other scout unit will enter the map. They will go, so that's 1, 2, and then he's stuck until this scout unit moves. Then we did full moves for both of them. Then we'll do, let's see, is one of the following. So we didn't do a recon, which we could have done with scouts. So now we go into the cat's action move phase. So now we're drawing out of the bag for our cat's activation chit, and we resolve that. So I've got the activation sheet here off shot, so we know what we're doing. So I know what I'm doing with that. I'll bring the cup in, and we'll draw our activation chit here. And our activation chit is Terror from Beyond. Draw a second chit. Uh-oh. Let's see. Every Marine unit adjacent to an active alien unit or within 3 hexes of an active monolith, which right now is neither one, that the Marine unit can also see is made paralyzed. After applying that result, draw another cat's activation chit immediately and enact it. Normally, the aliens get 2 chit draws this turn. We'll put that up there so we know it's been used, because once we draw our chits out, we are supposed to put the chit out, actually, right, after it's been activated, drawn immediately, just as it was normally drawn. I believe after we draw each chit, phases over and the used chit is placed to the side. Okay, so when it's been used, I'm going to put it up there. So we draw a second chit. And this one is an energy volley. Number 7 and a monolith, and all within 3. Right, so an energy volley, units number 2 to 6. And eligible alien units each conduct combat against the nearest active Marine. If no active Marine targets, let's see, units number 2 to 6, units number 8 to 12. So that's anything Overlord units number 7 plus all units within 3 hexes of an active Overlord or Marine unit. All right, so it looks like we've got a unit combat. So we're instructed when to conduct combat by the drawn cat's activation chit and do so using the same basic procedure. Aliens use their full CF, which is their combat factor. Yep. Combat factors in the bottom left corner. So conducting combat in each of the following locations. If the targeted Marine unit is located in the alien's field of fire. So it looks like we need the... So we're dealing with an energy volley here. Okay, looks like that's number 7 and a monolith, which we do have a number 7. We do have an overlord out here. Right? Yes. So each conduct combat. Okay, the scout unit conducts combat. The scout unit starts with a... So the overlord has a combat factor of a 2, which is reduced by 1 for passing through a forest. Let me see if I can fish out my line laser pointer. I should probably warn you guys in advance, this is going to be a very clunky video. This is mostly to see if I can tolerate this game. So as we can see here, we can see that the overlord is passing through a forest hex. So that means it's getting a... So that's getting a CF factor of a 1. So actually, right? I'm so puzzled about that. Right, so CF... Right. So how many dice do they roll in combat? Cat's activation. Unit number 10. Okay, so it's not explaining how the Chaos units do combat. It just says, does combat. Okay, consult the separate. Alien units activate, yada, yada, yada. Energy volley just says conduct combat. Oh, probably 3 dice then? A parenthesis is the total number of chits of that type available in the game, so that's not it. This still isn't explaining where all of the eligible Cat's activation draws the alien rush. It's probably in combat here somewhere. Let's see, Marine combat, ADM, Special Operations, Cave. Oh, Cat's over unit combat. Here we go. Reduces its 1 for targeted unit is located in. If the net combat factor is 0, no fire is conducted. All right, so for the Overlord, it's getting 1 die. It looks like it's getting 1 die at that. Rolls the net number of combat dice, so 1. Compares each die to the targeted Marine unit's defense number. So we're targeting... So it looks like we can target either one. I'll go for the furthest one. It'll get 1 die, and it's based on... As greater than a targeted... Oh, that's greater than the unit's defense number. All right, so I'll grab an orange die for that, and then we'll be rolling against this scout targeting a 3. That's a 2, so no damage done there. Right, if the combat scores 1 or 2 hits, becomes stunned. If it scores 3 or more hit, paralyzed. Okay. All right, so that was Chaos activation. Then end phase. Nothing else would attack because we only drew the... We drew the energy volley for Unit 7 only, so nothing happening there. So we check in the end phase, no instant victory conditions. If there are no Cat's activation chits left in the cup, there are, so we skip that. Then the goals are... Checks the drawn Cat's mission goal chit against the situation on the map. Okay, so we don't end the scenario there, which means we're into our next scenario, or into our next turn. There will be 19 turns total as we go through the Cat's activation chits. Let's see, so this scout is going to do a full move. This scout's going to go 1, 2, 3. I kind of want to use forest for as much of cover as I can. Then this scout, so I can get my next 2 units on the map, are going to go... This one's going to go 1, 2, 3 for a full move, and then we've got an HQ and his heavy weapons joining us here. So he's got to pay a 1 coming onto the road, movement allowance of 2. I could do a shoot and scoot here against this warrior all the way up here, which might be tempting to do, actually. That means I won't be able to bring this. Well, I can still bring this HQ in. Looks like at 344 potentially. So I think I will see if I can take out this warrior all the way up here. I'm surprised there's no range in this game. That seems a little bit out there. Well, traditional melee or hand-to-hand can't be conducted. Humans and the cats are not able to physically grapple with each other. Okay. All right, so a shoot and scoot. Does it only give it half of its combat dice, using a full fire resulting in equal? It reduces its combat factor by 1 if it's using a shoot and scoot. Okay, so the heavy weapons is using a shoot and scoot. So we're going to get only 4 dice at this. We're aiming at this warrior up here. We need to get a 3 and up to hit that. I'll grab my dice cup here since I know I'm going to start stacking dice like crazy. And how do we... we've got to worry about ammo as well. Okay. So how do we determine about the... If any normal Marine unit combat die roll yields 2 or more 1s, resolves the combat normally but is flipped over to out of ammo. Okay. That's probably what the... Okay, that's what the 3A is for. It must be 4 on the other side. Yep. All right, so and that one's not out of ammo. Stop flipping on me. Okay. So we've got the heavy weapons aiming at this warrior all the way up here. How is the map looking, Conflict? Are you able to see everything over there? And actually, everybody in chat can weigh in. I can zoom in on the... I can zoom the webcam in a bit if you guys are having trouble seeing that. And okay, so that's a... So what... Let's see. Rolls the number of combat dice. May voluntarily reduce the number of dice rolled prior to combat. If 3 or more hits are scored, which they did score 4 hits because the alien defense number is 3, which means this warrior has been eliminated. So I'll put that up there. So that was a shoot and scoot. Then the HQ is going to jump in at space 344, and it's got to pay the full 2 prices, the full 2 movement points, so it only gets the... So it can't do any kind of offense this round, which is every unit on the board. I'm definitely going to want to move this heavy weapons guy off of 322 so my other units can get on the board. So now we'll draw an activation chit from the... Now I'll draw an activation chit from the cup, and we'll see what we're doing here. Okay, there's our chit. And here we will find Alien Rush. 7. So Unit 7 and the Monolith all within 3. So the Alien Rush will each be moved to the nearest eligible unit, hex adjacent to the nearest active Marine unit. So the Overlord is actually going to move next to this scout unit. And the eligible unit will then conduct a combat against that adjacent Marine unit. Trace an imaginary straight line from the center of each alien's hex directly to the middle. Eligible alien units will each be moved to the nearest eligible hex adjacent to the nearest active Marine unit. Okay, so that's only 7 monolith and all within 3. Okay, so it looks like So I think I did that wrong, where for everybody within 3, these 2 should have moved as well. So this warrior will move here, and this warrior will also move over here. So that could be problematic for us. Then we have combat. So we'll start off with the warrior over here. It's rolling 5 dice and is aiming for a 4+ on that marine, on that heavy weapon unit. So let's see what we do here. Oop. And it wants a 4+, so we do end up taking 2 hits on that one, which means from their combat we will end up most likely paralyzed. Increases its combat factor by 1, so it should have had an extra die. That's a 3, so only 2 units. There's only 2 hits, which means this heavy weapons, in a bit that's problematic for us, he's stunned. Okay. And then we've got 2 Overlord. We've got the Overlord going after the Scout with a combat factor of a 2, plus 1 is 3. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and roll for both attacks. So I'm going to use the black dice for Warrior 9, and I've got orange dice in there already for 7. So each one will be 2 separate attacks. I'm just rolling them both at one time. Okay, so they both score 2 hits apiece, which I believe means if... Okay, so each roll that is greater scores 1 hit. If 1 or 2, unit becomes stunned. If 3 or more, paralyzed. Previously stunned gets another stunned, it becomes paralyzed. So the Scout is now paralyzed, which means it's got no move or combat factors. That's problematic. Fortunately, I think we've got an option to try to rally all stunned. And that's on anybody for that. So we'll probably need to do a rally action here to try to get some of our all types of units may attempt to rally. Okay, roll a die for each such unit on a 5 or up. Okay. So now we go into the end phase, but still no instant victory. Still no instant victory for us. Straightens out all active units and begins the next Marine action phase. There are no cats activation chits left. Player randomly draws one of the remaining chits and looks at it. So we still have plenty in the bag, or in the cup. Then we don't worry about checking that. So now we've got a problem. So the heavy weapons is going to do a full move to get off of 322. Then HQ is going to do a full move 2 over to 345. Then we're going to try to rally. What did we want to see? We wanted to see a right. We want to see a 5+ to downgrade that stunned marker. So let's see what we get here. That's a 1, so our Scout is still very much stunned. And then add 1 die if the rolling unit is... Add 1 to the die roll, subtract 1 if it's adjacent to any aliens. So actually this guy wouldn't have rallied anyway. We definitely need to take him out though. So I think I'm going to use this Scout to aim at that warrior. We have to use the pistol. 3 minus 1 is 2 dice. And we need to inflict 2 hits, and we are aiming for a 3+. That's a 3 and a 4, so this warrior has also been taken out. Because 1 hit essentially bounces... So 1 hit bounces off. Oh no, 3 or more hits, so never mind. We weren't able to even take him out anyway. I think in that case, if I would have realized that, I probably would have gone... Oh, that's half a movement point per hex. All right, so probably would have gone to, and the last one would have gone to waste. All right, so our paralyzed scout can't do anything there. Oh, actually, the turn we have new units coming in. Let's see. So the Marine squad will enter. He's going to do a shoot and scoot as well against the warrior. 4 minus 1 is 3 dice, and all of these need to be 3 pluses. Which that's a 3, a 2, and a 1, so nothing happens there. Then we've got the logistics coming in. He's going to have to pay the cost there. That's the full 2 movement points, so that's not going to do anything for them. That's it for our turn. Now we draw another activation chit. And then for this one we find, doesn't want to flip, there we go. Alien Rush, 8 to 12, which means the Alien Rush, so they're all going to move to the nearest eligible Marine unit. So Warrior is going to move 7. Actually, the Scout's nearer for 8, so he's going to move there. And then this Warrior is going to move over here as well. So we're very much getting surrounded here in a hurry. Yuck, yuck, yuck. All right, and the Alien Rush includes combat as well. Okay. Only fires once. So we're going to be rolling several attacks here. I'm going to roll each one 2 at a time. Right. Okay, does anything happen with the... It's located in or crossed through a field, okay? If the targeted Marine unit is located in your strong point. Okay? So it looks like everything gets canceled out there. We had a -1 for being in a forest, but a +1 for being adjacent. So we're going to roll for the attack against this scout down here first. We need 4 dice for Warrior 11. I'll roll that in orange. Then 3 for this Warrior. That will be in red. And we'll do these separately once again. We'll do them together, but I'll count each result as a separate attack. Okay, so the Scout is a 3, which means the Warrior 11 didn't do anything, but Warrior 8 up here very much paralyzed our other Scout. We've got problems here. So that Scout's now not doing anything. Then Warrior 10 needs 5 dice. He's going to go after this Marine squad over here. Actually, does he go after the Marine squad, or does he go after the heavy weapons? I think he wants to go after the heavy weapons and try to paralyze that unit. So that actually needs 6 dice and aiming at a 4+. Wow. Yeah, this is totally going well. And this heavy weapons is now paralyzed. That's great. Yeah. All right. Do we lose if we just all end up paralyzed is my question. Decisive victory, no. I thought I saw something where if the... I thought I saw something where if the if the Marine units all end up paralyzed immediately, then we just lose. Maybe there are at least 8 active cats units on the map. Okay, yeah, things are not going well here at all for us. So now we need to see what we can do. I think our first order of business is going to be to try a rally action. Actually, all stunned and paralyzed units. All types of units may attempt to rally. Roll 1 die for each such unit. All right, so I'm going to use this HQ to attempt to rally. So I've got 3 paralyzed units on the board. And they're all adjacent to aliens. That's great. So yeah, this is going to be problematic. Add 2 to the dice roll if an active logistics unit is adjacent. Actually, so before we do that, I'm actually going to use this move, do a full move on this logistics unit to come up, to bring this logistics unit up here so I can try to rally this heavy weapons a little bit easier, because the logistics unit is actually going to give that unit a +2 to rally. So we roll a die for each. So we had 1. Okay. So we roll. Okay. Right. So now that we've done that, this HQ is going to attempt to rally. We'll roll for the heavy weapons first, which is going to be a net +1 for being adjacent to a logistics unit for a +2, but adjacent to an alien for a -1. That's a 6, so the paralyzed for that heavy weapons now becomes a stunned. Then for... Actually, that's bad, because we can't even rally these 2. We need to clear out some of these aliens, some of these cats right here, before we can go anywhere near trying to rally them. So I think this heavy weapons unit, now that it's been rallied, is going to do a full shoot on this overlord. He's going to get 4 dice, -1 for being stunned, and he needs a 4+ to hit. So 4 orange dice. I should roll that again, and I'm going to. That was a cocked die. That's a 6. Okay, so the Overlord has actually been eliminated, thankfully, which means now he'll have a little bit easier time rallying. So we'll pretend we did that in a... Well, actually, no, we couldn't have pretended we did that. So this unit will attempt to rally, which is a 2, so it's still paralyzed. This one... Now you're going to bother rolling that, because there's no way he can rally anyway. Let's see. Then the... What is that? The Marine Squad. What is that? A Marine Squad right there? Yes. He's going to do an attack on this warrior. Normally gets 4 dice, +1 is 5 because he's adjacent to that Chaos warrior. And there was a 3+ we were aiming at, so this warrior has actually been defeated as well. Surprised we haven't... How do aliens become dormant? If he also draws one of the face-down cat's mission goal markers, looks at it, and removes it. Where are the goals? Okay, those are the monsters. Oh, that's right, I had one more cup. So I've got our goals in here that we draw from once the activation markers are empty. So our goal here is possess a sleeper agent. Okay, so what does this one translate to? If there's at least 1 active alien unit adjacent to a stunned or paralyzed Marine unit, the Chaots win. That's actually very good to come out of here. I'm guessing there's probably more in there. Okay. And I believe that's all of our units, although we've got the... Right, we've got... Okay. Let's see. So that was turn 1, 2, 3. We're in 4 right now. So we've got another logistics and a Marine squad entering. So the Marine squad will go up there. Can't do anything else. Logistics will enter at 344 and also can't do anything else because they both used full moves. So now we draw an activation chit for the... Chaos. And our activation here is drop pods. Drop pods are roll a die to determine the number of chaos units that will arrive. So we have 5 units coming in. Oh, that's great. Randomly select that number of alien units and place each one in a random hex. All right, so I've got my units up here. So we'll mix these up. We'll pull them out one at a time, then I'll roll. All right, so we've got another warrior coming out. That's great. And then we need 3 dice. Fortunately, I've got my ticker dice from Season Ticket right here as well. We're going to read it red, then pink, then orange. So 516. That is... Yikes, and a stronghold behind us. That's a problem. We've got another warrior. 353. Let's see, 353. Uh-oh. Oh, yikes, that is right in the action. So we've got 3 more coming. Which is another warrior. 435, which is actually looks to be way out of the action, so way over here. Then we need 2 more, so next one. There's another Overlord coming out at 511. Oh, yikes. Right behind our other units. And our last one coming out is another warrior. Spawning at 314. 314 is over here near the power station. Yeah, this is not going well for us at all. This is all kinds of fun. Right. Let's see. So... Okay, the cats. All right. Now, we need to start cats hunting in this mess. So let's see what we can do about that. This heavy weapons is going to do a shoot and scoot. So he's only got 1 unit, which means he's going to move here. And then he's going to shoot at this warrior. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's no forest there. So 5-4 for being stunned, 3 dice. And they all need to be a 3+ to take out this warrior right here. I'd like to be able to rally this paralyzed... What is that paralyzed unit? That's a scout. That's a 6, a 4, and a 3. So this warrior has been taken out, which will actually make it a lot easier to rally this scout. So let's give that a try. We will use... I'm actually going to use this logistics to move it 2 over... Actually, that's a plains. So it looks like 1, 2 to get up here. Then the scout will try to rally with a +2 bonus from the logistics being there. Needs a 5, so effectively a 3. So of course I roll a 2. He's still paralyzed. He's not even going to bother trying to rally. Let's see here. This Marine Scout's going to move 1, 2, 3. And then this Marine squad is going to move half, 1.5. We'll call that 3 and call it good. Then this HQ is going to aim at this Overlord down here with 3 dice. And we need 4+ to take it out. We need 3 hits at 4+ to take that Overlord out. So, of course, he ends up out of ammo. That's wonderful. And then who can try to resupply? Can that logistics try to resupply? Yes, actually, it's an action only. We resupply 1. Okay, so we will flip this HQ over to having ammo again. So that's the logistics action. So now we draw a Chaos activation chip. There's our chit, and we get Alien Dimensional Manifestation. Oh, that seems problematic. That seems like armor of some kind. That's because if the alien unit receives 1 or 2 hits and does not currently have an ADM marker, randomly draw an available ADM marker and place it... Wait, that shouldn't be in here from the looks of it. How does it get one of those? If the alien unit receives 1 or 2 hits, randomly draw... Okay, represents the new defense number for the remainder of the game. So that looks like I need another cup for these. So that'll go in there. Let me just get the other ones out of here. Looks like I'm going to need another bag for those. Looks like I got the rest of them out. Okay. Yep. So the rest of the chits are in the bag proper, in the cup, the proper cup. So our actual activation is an energy volley for numbers 8 to 12. Energy volley says they're going to attack the nearest Marine unit. Oh, this is fun. So that's 8 to 12, which means 8 will attack this. Actually, 8 doesn't even attack the scout. I don't know why it would. Do they ignore paralyzed? I would think so, but... multiple paralyzed have no additional effect. So yeah, it would probably make sense that they would ignore paralyzed units, which means this warrior is going to go after this Marine squad. If the targeted Marine unit is located in or the alien's line of fire crossed through a forest, rough, or building terrain, he's in a targeted Marine unit is located in. So it doesn't do anything for the alien because the alien is located in a forest. All right, so for the warrior, targeting this Marine scout, this Marine squad with a defense number of 4. That's 2 6s, so it will inflict 2 hits, which means he's going to end up stunned. 1 or 2 hits, Marine unit becomes stunned. All right, so that Marine squad ends up stunned. Then Warrior 11, since that's part of 8 to 12, is going to go after him as well. His dice get reduced. Still needs a 4+. That's a 1 and a 3, so nothing happening there. Then Warrior 12, which is also part of that. So this one way the hell out here is going to be taking quite a long shot. So he's going to be shooting. Looks like he's going to be going through a lava hex, and I had a line laser pointer so I could check out line of sight. So he's going all the way there, but he's passing through forest. I don't think there's a penalty for passing through lava, is there? No. All right, so that's 3 dice. 3 dice against this logistics unit. Needs a 2+. That's 2 6s and a 4, so that logistics unit is paralyzed. Oy vey. Okay, so we don't have any. There are no chits left in the cup. Okay, so right, so we just went through the activation chit. I saw another defense unit. There we are. Okay, looks like I missed that. Okay, so now we're back to our turn, and things are not going well for us, to put it mildly. Let's bring this I think everybody's going to I think we need to try to rally here pretty desperately. And Philip Reynolds is now stopping in. Good to see you as well, Philip. I'm just having let me zoom in here so you can see what a problem I'm having on my hands here tonight, as we're playing a brand new game on the channel, but things are not going well for us tonight. There we go. You guys will lose the dice tower, but you probably have a hard time reading the dice tower anyway. So we've got a whole bunch of paralyzed units over here, and then we've got a couple of stunned units. Yeah, things are not going well for us. And maybe I'm just a little bit salty at how things are going tonight. Plus, I'm kind of looking at the clock and I'm realizing this is actually going to take a little bit longer than I was expecting it to, because we only have 6 chits out of the cup, and there's still a lot more than that to go. As you can see here, we've still got a lot left in here. We'll probably be at this for another couple of hours. We'll go through another round or two. But I think at this point I'm probably just leaning towards sticking with Gregory Smith games with Gregory Smith and Thomas Van Hare games for my tactical level piece, because I really, like I said in the intro of this video, I really like the narrative aspect of these tactical level games. Maybe this is an early intro to the more traditional hex and counter games. Apparently I need to go take English lessons while I'm at it. But I don't know, something just isn't really clicking with me here. I'm just really not. The theme is helping a little bit, I'll admit to that, but I don't know. I think if there was a game in that heavy narrative style, but in a space setting, in a sci-fi setting of some kind, I would probably be all over that. Let's see. We might as well try to rally here, I guess. Stunned, I assume, still counts as active. Right? I didn't even know about Marine Scout or Marine Jump Packs. Marine Scout and Spec Ops may, as a normal move action, conduct a Jump Pack move, announces the desired destination, and rolls 1 die on the table below. Reinforcement units may jump in from off map. Okay. So we should probably try to get some of these guys away from this carnage. We've got a Marine squad right there. Can they do a jump package or jump? move. No. Actually, Marine squads can't. Heavy weapons can't either. Only our scouts could, but of course, they're both paralyzed, which is very wunderbar. Right. So let's go ahead and try to rally our units here. We will have the... So all stunned and paralyzed units can rally. I may attempt to rally. A rally allows a stunned or paralyzed to attempt to remove or downgrade that marker. Okay, so I think we'll have the heavy weapons try to rally. It's got nothing there, which means it doesn't take a modifier for stunned, does it? No. So it's just a straight roll. 5+. That's a 2, so he's stunned. This Marine squad, this one up here, that's a 4. Still not unstunned. Then the logistics is paralyzed. That's a 3, still not paralyzed, still paralyzed. The scout, which is a 5, so he's only stunned now. And that scout, I'm not going to bother trying to rally there. What to do here? I think this HQ is going to move 1, so I can make rallying a little bit easier. Then logistics will move 1, 1.5, and that'll be it for its movement. All right, and here are our activation chits. And our next activation is more drop pods. Wonderful. So first we need to see how many units we have coming on the board. We have 6. Wonderful. That's not the cup I want. This is. Looks like we have more than 6 units left, so we are going to have to pull. All right, first up we've got another warrior. Same roll as before. Going to 556, which is over here. Then for our next unit, we've got the monolith. Oh joy. We've seen the monolith on some of these units activate. Let's see where the monolith is going. That's going to 321, which 321, is that even a hex on the map? Oh, yes, it is. It's all the way out here in the middle of nowhere to us. Let's see what's next. We've got another warrior coming out. So that's our 3rd unit. Going to 152. 152 is up here. So we need 3 more units. That's another overlord. 515 is out over here. We're about to get surrounded here. Let's see. So when we eliminate the unit, what do we do with it? Do not put it back into the pool of units. All right, so that was our 4th unit. Another warrior coming out. This is our 5th unit. 563 right here. And our last unit is another warrior. 615, which 615 is out here. Yeah. So I'm starting to see here that our map is just turning into a complete disaster here. We've got aliens everywhere. Our units are very much clumped over here, stunned and paralyzed. We can't do anything with it. So I think that's where I'm going to tap out here. Things just went, as you can see, things just went completely haywire on us here. And maybe I'm feeling a little salty about that, but my impression of these tactical level games is that it's very easy to get overwhelmed. Well, the hex and counter games, like I said, I've kind of been shy around these more traditional hex and counter games just because it is so easy to get overwhelmed in them. And I've always associated hex and counter games, admittedly, with obviously tons of counters, and it's always been an intimidating arena to me. Plus, I like the narrative focus of the Historic Wings games and the Greg Smith games a bit better. So I'm probably going to stick with those as my tactical games of choice. But that will do it for this playthrough of Invaders from Dimension X. I may leave this, I'll probably put this one back on the shelf. I might bust it out again just to see if fresh eyes maybe change my mind on it. But I don't know. First impression was not good. But I'm rambling a bit, so let's wrap this video up. Tomorrow night, we will be at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, as the 1985 playoffs in season ticket baseball continue. We will have the California Angels against the Toronto Blue Jays. Don Sutton will be going for the Angels, and Jimmy Key will be going for the Blue Jays. That series is tied at a game apiece. Saturday Mystical Munchies will continue out of the Dungeons & Dragons Flavors of the Multiverse cookbook as we make the side Tavern Noodles. Sunday, we're playing This War of Mine. And next week, what are we doing next week? Let's see, next week is the 12th. We're staying in space next week, but we will be playing Twilight Inscription by Fantasy Flight Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.